L'orso è un succhiacazzi.
Is it? Is it now? Wait, that's what you think was said? Is that what you thought? There's a little bit different. Oh no, 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 no.
L'orso è un succhiacazzi.
Funny enough, it's about Kelsey. also kind of relevant there. No.
L'orso è un succhiacazzi.
That was the worst attempt at anything I've ever heard in my life.
Okay, I started the stream, so come join.
No. Stop it. Oh, my shoulder cracked. It didn't feel good.
I heard it.
Thank you. Feels like a door that needs like WD-40 right now. Jesus Christ. Oh.
As a reminder, when you're in, please mute the stream, because I can hear it, and I don't like hearing it.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute. I didn't follow it. That it?
It's YouTube. I posted it in our, yeah.
Sounds about right.
Is anyone not in?
I am in.
Okay, I'm gonna start then. So, we're gonna go over some push specific things, since you guys struggle with that, and mostly from this map, we're gonna talk about the pathing that you guys take as a team, you know, your positioning, and then I think that we need to readdress the disconnect between your front line and your back line again. That's gonna be a consistent issue. So we're gonna fix it now and start fixing it now, so it no longer is an issue. We don't even get to start with the criticism in the first fight. We're gonna start right here in spawn.
Ready for battle.
Okay, so I don't know what comms were like around here, right? I don't know. I'm assuming, we were like, yeah, let's run a queen comp, right? And do this. And I know that y'all sometimes likes to play soldier here. I'm assuming someone made the call for him to switch to Reaper, right? I don't know when that call happened. But Jarl is way over here swapping. I mean, he can swap here, right? Like, this is still technically in spawn. Anyone? Dylan? Yeah, this is
What?
still in spawn.
At the little
Yeah.
like doorways
little
upstairs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So, again, I know it's a scrim, whatever. I don't know who made the call or when that we should swap to Reaper. I think that it's ridiculous that we're swapping now. However, at the same time, we need to make those calls sooner, right? And figure out what we're playing sooner and how we're going to play it sooner. This is when I'm going to start talking about our frog, and our frog needs to... Our frog is very disconnected from the rest of our team a lot of times, Rappy, I'm sorry to say. So this is where it starts.
Yeah.
I know you and I are gonna do the individual VOD over this one. But like here's where it starts. So like if we're talking about it in spawn, right, like, oh, maybe we don't go soldier, maybe we try Reaper or whatever, that's fine. Like, you have to be conscientious of the fact that like people are swapping and they're not quite ready. I realize that it's not fully on you, that like, we swapped like way over here, but you have to be conscientious of that, right? It doesn't end up like super mattering, but I find that you guys really struggle with your setup, right? And at the very beginning of the map is like where you're going to be the most even with the enemy team, right? Like, this is like, you have no pressure on you right now. You guys should be perfect here. There's no excuse to not be perfect here because literally nothing else is happening. Like, I can literally watch, like, as you do your frog thing and you start leaving your team behind, like, you can watch the feat and like now he's not being sped, right? And then you end up having to stop and wait. Like, you're stopping and waiting even for your team to get there. You're the one speeding them forward. They can't get there until you speed them. So I bring it up now because this is a consistent issue. The other thing is, whenever we're, like, leaving spawn, right, we figured out our comp, we talked about what we want to run. The next step is, where are we going, right? Where are we going to contest? Obviously, someone called that we're going to go left. I don't know if we said, like, top, right? We're gonna go like take the high ground first. It seems like most of us are on the same page. Tracer doesn't need to go left. I don't have a problem with that. But Rappy, you go out this way, right? And then you have to go all the way over to meet your team. Why not just go with your team, right?
Cause I heard left. I didn't think coast left. That was my bad.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I wanted to know what the comms were like. Like, I wasn't sure, like I said, if we called like top left or just left in general. So again, this is just the start of the disconnect, and that's a simple thing. I get that happens, but I want to bring it up. Like, again, we should all be on the same page leaving spawn, so this stuff doesn't happen. First fight, like, no one's pressuring you guys. Like, this is just all a team synergy coordination sort of issue that should be fixed relatively easy, right? So actually going into the fight, I actually want to go over the fight a little bit sooner. Hang on. Okay, so I will say, I like that we go top, I like that we try to address top first to make sure they don't take top. So I like the call there. This McCree is out of position, right? We're talking about target priority. Going into this fight, I mean, you guys don't know what they're going to have. I would say about at this point, right? You've seen most of what they have. I don't know if we know that they have a tracer yet. But y'all at least see these 4 people in front of you, right? So again, talking about target priority, this should trigger something in your brain like, this Kree is probably someone that we should jump on, right? It's probably someone that we should focus, right? And he's actually, like, in a shit position right now. Like, he's pulled further than anyone else on his team. Like, he's pushed up further than anyone else. We see him. I saw Kipper, like, throw the knife, in his direction. Didn't quite land, whatever it happens. And we let him back up before we like actually engage. Like after he's already left and moved back, that's when we shout, that's when we speed, that's when we all go in, and then we go forward on Queen. The next thing is like this frog comes in really aggressive, right? Talking about like mid-fight target calling. This frog comes in really aggressive. This Moira is half. I'm assuming, you know, yeah, Dylan's on her, right? Which is great, actually pressuring the back line. We see that frog low. We completely ignore frog. We're literally all locked onto this queen right now. Like both our queen and our reaper are just on the queen. I know we've talked about this already, right? Stop shooting the main tank. I don't care if you pressure the queen. You can pressure her, right? You can like push her back, you know, like shoot her a little, you know, make her use cooldowns and shit. But you guys don't have to like hard focus this bitch unless she's like feeding in your back line or she's low, she's separated from her team. Like go for anyone else. If that frog, like he was, right? If that frog is inside of your team. First and foremost, if you see this Kree and he's pushed up, you guys are right here, right? Like, Rappy should already be further up, ready to, like, push with his team. And then you guys see this Kree and you call it and y'all just go. You use shout, you use speed boost if you have it, amp, and then you just go on the McCree when he's right here, alright? And then the next step, again, whatever, we missed that opportunity. We see frog low. We should call this. This frog is one. Kill this frog, right? Okay, so obviously, like I said, I have a problem with the target priority there. I also kind of have a problem with your engage. Like we see right now, we have a really good position comparatively. Like they're all kind of stuck down there. We have the high ground, which is nice. You know, just to kind of, you know, we have some breathing room. We have a good vantage point. Again, we can scout like their entire team from here. We know exactly where they are, except obviously like the Tracer, who is still out of the fight. So if our goal is McCree here, which it probably should be, right? Unless someone is an easier target, I don't think that we need to go like speed in here and go like all the way in on McCree. Like let's say like we tried to still go for McCree here. I see that you guys do this. I know that we've been working on target calling and, you know, focusing those targets, and sometimes y'all try to get on those targets and you just go for it and you'll like blitz through their entire team like to get to that Kree, right? That's not always necessary. Like you guys gotta set yourselves up for success, which I think that you tried to do this fight. Again, I think this is a good spot. But you're ignoring a significant portion of this map right here with this tunnel, right? Like whenever you're playing Brawl, when you're playing Dive, I mean really when you're playing anything, like your goal of course is to take like as little damage as possible, right? While still like providing value and getting kills. So, I mean, whenever you guys engage, whenever you are scouting, whenever you're, you know, rotating and all of that, like you're trying to take as little damage as possible. So like rather than like face fucking their entire enemy team trying to go for that McCree, you guys could have, like some of y'all at least, like your queen and, you know, whoever, you could have gone in this way and like, oh look, a McCree, and then you just like then you use your shout and your amp even, and then you jump on the McCree in the back line, you know, and you kind of like, you don't have to go through the rest of the enemy team. And then like your Kiriko could have come in here too and followed, and now like she can play here while like the rest of everyone like jumps on this McCree, and then like Emmy's just sitting pretty up here, you know, like not being focused by anything, and the rest of y'all are like just dive bomb that Kree, and then you're behind them, and then you go for Moira or Lucio or whoever's low, right? And you have Dylan like, you know, between everyone like shooting things. Does that make sense? Like you are just like pushing into them and not actually going for the right target. So yeah, we just spend this entire fight trying to kill Queen. Believe it or not, we don't kill Queen. Okay, so next thing I'm gonna harp about. Let's watch coming out of spawn. Our goal coming out of spawn right now, like we died relatively close together, you know, is just to regroup, right? Of course, we're regrouping for the next fight and we're gonna go make it happen. So I want to make sure that rather than doing this, we're actually paying attention to the last person who's coming out of spawn. Your tank is very important. You only have one, right? They're the spearhead of your team. You guys cannot viably go in and have a good fight if you leave your tank behind. And you sure as shit don't want her to have to use shout to get back to the fight, right? So, again, as a frog player, you have to be conscientious of this. I mean, if you guys are getting left behind, I do think that it's an important call out to be like, hey, you know, you're leaving me, like, I need help getting back, like, can you speed me? You know, like, I will say, again, it's a teamwork thing. Sometimes we're dealing with a lot mentally, and we can't always think of every little thing that we're supposed to do. So we guys, you know, we have to help each other, like, remember sometimes. But, again, as a frog, that's one of your, like, only jobs, right? Especially, like, between fights. Your job is to get your team back. Make sure that, I mean, even if you're waiting for the last person, get your team back. There are exceptions, like if it's OT and you literally have to go and touch, obviously don't wait and spawn, right? But for the most part, and we'll talk about exceptions as they come up, you know, make sure that you get your team back. Like you even like sit there and install and you wait a little bit. Like just go get her from the beginning and then you don't have to do that. Okay, so this is unfortunate. It's a tempo thing, right? If you're Brawl v Brawl, you can't, like we kind of talked about earlier a little bit with going on McCree super hard, right? Or whoever you're going on super hard. You don't always have to, again, like commit everything off the bat because they have their cooldowns too, right? Like that's why when you guys pushed Queen, like sure, if you literally all shot that queen and you all hit shots, maybe you kill her, right? But you have to think about their team as a whole as well. So like if you're going into your fight and you have amp and you have shout and you have all this stuff, you have to think about it like unless you guys have like burnt some of their cooldowns and made them use them, they also have shout, right? They also have an orb, right, from Moira. They have amp, you know, they have their cooldowns too. So, you know, you want to make sure that again, like you're making them waste their cooldowns. If they use cooldowns, you kind of try to kite a little bit, and then you go in super hard because you have the cooldown advantage, right? That's what tempo is. You know, anytime you get an opportunity, you go in. If they have the opportunity and they're using, you know, whatever to their advantage, you kind of try to kite. So in this instance, like, it's not a bad spot for either team, right? Like, you're both trying to, like, play this corner. Tracers are kind of fucking with each other. When they have a frog, especially, we have to be mindful of when they're going to engage, because you know at some point they're going to engage really hard onto us, right? But also when they have Queen and she has that shout, if she's engaging with shout, we hear that shout, we should instantly be kiting back, right? Unless someone's making the call to like meet them and just kind of, you know, try to fight, you know, like on that neutral footing because we both use shout or something. Like you guys should just be calling like to kite back, even if it's for a couple of seconds. You don't have to go back to spawn, right? But y'all just have to like speed back here a little, you know, get away from the queen, just come back here a little, and then once like the shout's over, then you go back in and engage, right? And now they don't have that cooldown anymore, so y'all like have a better chance of winning. Instead, we just kind of like stood here and took it. Unfortunately, Rappy was in front of the tank at that point, so he took the brunt of it, and now we're down our frog, which means like our maneuverability as a team is much lower, right? See, like, now Jarl has to walk very slowly to, like, try to peel and, like, get back, because, you know, we don't have the speed. We end up getting kills anyway. They go in a little too far, which is awesome. So fortunately, we end up kind of swinging this, although we're still losing a lot of people over it, right? Our DPS managed to pop off and clean up, which is nice. Okay, so Rappy, I'm gonna let you answer for me this time. Do you know what you should be doing in this instance?
Going back to attack to the tank?
Yeah. Yep. Now, what I will say, like, you were trying to get there and get back and like help clean up that fight when it's still going on, right? Like, you want to get there and support the people that are still in. I think that's perfectly fine. That's one of the exceptions I'm talking about. Like, if that fight's still winnable, which it was, and you go in like. And again, you're trying to like support them in whatever way. That's totally fine. The moment they won that fight, I want you to go back to spawn, right? Because instead, like, it's literally you and Tracer on point, and I promise you're not moving that point faster, right? You're not moving it any faster, and your team is a lot slower. So y'all have to figure out, like, you know, who touches, and I know Dylan does a really good job about talking about, as Tracer, that he's going to be the one that pushes cart. So y'all are just gonna have to listen to that. But whoever's pushing cart, and y'all can decide that. Like, if you have a Tracer, Tracer can push cart. You know, Kiriko can often push cart. You know, like, whoever can, like, get off of it fast and rotate very quickly is typically, like, a good person to do. Right now, for a lot of this, Tracer's pushing cart. That means no one else needs to push it, right? I want you guys to try to, like, take fights off of cart, off of bot. I know I'm going to call it cart, but, you know, off of bot. You don't have to fight on bot. Like, take a better position. I think that if we had, you know, sped our team back faster, we would have had more of an opportunity to set up. Right? And instead we just kind of fly in and we try to like contest early, you know, because we're scared that they're going to get back fast enough. So we end up getting about here. I have a big issue with our positioning in this fight. Again, like I said, Dylan was pushing cart. Even if you guys are worried about it or, you know, whatever, like, especially if it's a Tracer, someone who's on bot, like, they can get off at any point in time, and they should get off, and then they just like regroup with you guys, or then like, you know, the Tracer tries to like go fuck with them in the back line. Like, y'all don't need to worry about bot too much. Time for the... So I think here what I would have wanted positioning wise, I talked to Dylan about it already, but I wish that whenever we got back about here, I wish that Dylan would have gone maybe left, also could have gone right. I wish that you would have just taken a different angle like we discussed and actually kind of pressured them from a different side and not played frontline Tracer. The second thing I'll say is that Emmy, I wish you were up here. I know that right now it's being contested by the Tracer. I think that, you know, Jarl like pushes back the Tracer and then comes over here and like fights the Kree and keeps him from doing that. And I like that Jarl's taking this high ground and contesting it, but he needs help. So as Kiriko, and this is true for like any sort of like main support, especially when you're playing with Frog, I understand that it's kind of hard when you have a Frog because, you know, you're the only one that's like healing people specifically, right? So you're kind of having to help everyone. I would say, more importantly, you need to be in a better position where you can see more people. Like, if you're playing around here, kind of like we talked about that previous fight, you can see, like, all of your team. You can see a good chunk of the enemy. If the Tracer comes up here, you have a Kree next to you, and this is, like, a pretty easy, like, way to headshot her, because she's just funneling down this corridor. And then you can, like, see Jarl to your left and help Jarl, and then he doesn't die to this Kree, and then you guys probably win this fight. And then whenever this happens, all you have to do is just, like, look down, or even like fall down this way, and then boom, Suzu, right? So I think a couple of us were out of position there. Like, Jarl ended up not getting any help at all, even though he was doing a good job of pressuring, which is really unfortunate. The other thing I'll say is whenever, I'll back it up one more time. Okay, so we're fighting, we use our shout, right? Like, we're gonna go in, but we don't really go in. We just kind of stand here. So we're misusing some of our cooldowns, right? I mean, if you're gonna use it to like save your team or something, that's totally fine. But other than that, like, you're using it to either like engage or disengage, but you didn't do either. You just stood here. The second thing I'll say is that whenever you used it right, you have the opportunity. The supports are just standing here, okay? Their supports are stupid. They're just standing here. Like, you were about here, right, when you shouted? Just go for their supports. We keep looking at this fucking queen. Like, and then she ults into our backline. Again, if she ults into a spot where her team can't help her, I don't have a problem with y'all focusing her. But her team can help her right now. And I just don't think that it's a great idea. Like, this queen literally takes no damage the entire time. She took a little baby shot. That queen lost no health. So you guys focusing her is not doing anything at all. Like, kill their supports. If their supports are within your axe swing, if their supports are just like close range to you guys and you're playing this brawl comp, just fucking kill them. Especially like if they queen ult, right? We do have Suzu, which is nice. We didn't quite cleanse the ante off of everyone, you know, shit happens, but obviously we have Suzu, and we can kind of like survive the ult a little bit. But whenever they use ults like this, and they get really aggressive, your goal typically is not to peel, alright? There's some ults that you can peel for, and that can be nice, and hopefully you can get that kill. I think it's more important for you guys as a team to just push forward, right? Especially with the comp that you have. Like, you have Frog and Kiriko. Your backline's not weak. It shouldn't be weak, right? Frog and Kiriko are very, very hard to pin down and hard to kill. The only person you really have that's an easy target is McCree, right? Which is why he needs a little extra help sometimes. So just push forward, right? Even if you guys get antied there, you can like cleanse and then surge forward into their supports instead. Even if your backline dies, like let's say Emmy doesn't have Suzu and she gets caught out, and let's say Emmy dies. Sorry, I'm using you as a guinea pig this time, Emmy. Then the rest of you guys can say, okay, we need to make sure that we get kills here. Their supports are vulnerable. Like if both sides lose their main support, then we're still even, right? Yeah, there's probably not much you can do for Emmy if she's like killed by Junker Queen's ult. Like, unless she can save herself with the Suzu, then she's just dead. There's nothing that you can really do. So just try to take out their supports, and then all of a sudden, you know, you guys are like up one in the fight, and it doesn't matter that you don't have that extra healing because you're just killing everyone. Come. Okay, this is a good time to say it too. If you're gonna die, right? We all kind of like, we die off to the side, we die running away. Does Rappy die too? Maybe. No, okay. Kipper dies. I want to see how far back it was. Time for the reckoning. Okay, so they start pushing bot. I assume, yeah, right here. The fight's still going on. We're all running away. We're still dying. Kipper runs all of this way only to die. Die on bot, alright? Unless you guys can safely kite and regroup, I'm thinking like, let's say someone dies early, there's still 4 of you left, you're in a relatively safe-ish position. You don't have to give up that position. You just need to like be mindful of, again, you're down 1, right? Play a little safe. If you can use an ult to swing the fight or something, sure, whatever. You know, you don't have to necessarily go in and feed if they're not killing you. However, if it's clearly a lost or losing fight, you have 2 goals. Your first goal is to die on bot. Right? There's no reason that you should not be dying on bot unless, again, you're viably able to get out, right? Like we saw Dylan, you know? Dylan knew that he could get out because he's Tracer, so he left, alright? That's fine. No one's going to kill him. Now, Kipper, you're not getting out. If you were going to get out, you would have gone this way towards your team. Instead, you backed up main. This is full panic mode. I can see it in your body language. You're just panicking, and you just don't die on bot. So we give them all of this space for free, like while we're all still dying, and that could be like time for an extra fight, right? Also, your second goal. Sorry, I didn't say that. Your second goal, besides dying on bot, is to just take people with you, of course. Like, if you guys are losing that fight and you can, like, go really aggressive on them and maybe get a kill out of it before you die on bot, go for it. But first and foremost, your goal is to die on bot. I talked about this one a little bit with Dylan as well. What I'll say about it is you guys have to actually coordinate and then follow through on whether you're going to contest or not, right? Dylan was trying to touch here, it looks like, you know, to stop them from getting that spawn. We tried to high noon to kind of buy a little bit of space, and then no one else is ready. I think part of that we know that Kipper just died, right? He died last. He should not have taken that long to die, as we've already addressed it. However, all of us are out of spawn waiting, and Kipper's still in spawn. Speed him. You should be speeding him a lot faster than that. You guys cannot go in until you're a team, right? Like, you cannot make a viable, good push until you are a solid team. So, like, y'all just aren't ready to follow up on this. Maybe that means, you know, Dylan goes in, touches, and recalls, and I don't think that you did use recall. It just seemed like it didn't happen. That happens. It sucks, whatever. Maybe we don't touch it all there if we're not ready. But you guys gotta, like, coordinate that. Right, you have to decide for sure, are we going or not. Second thing is, after Dylan dies, then we decide to drop. I'm really confused by that. I don't know what the thought process was there. Maybe it was panic, like, oh shit, we were supposed to help and we didn't quite get there. So like Queen and Frog both jump down, and then y'all just feed, right? At that point, if Dylan dies and then they take the spawn or whatever, they got the checkpoint, like, don't drop. Don't drop. You've already, you know, you're not getting any value out of that. You're already down someone. You didn't get the checkpoint. Y'all just need to, like, regroup, you know, get ready to, like, engage on them when you have, like, a good opportunity instead of just, like, dropping in one by one and feeding. Good job noticing that the Kree was out of position, though, right? And we instantly jump on him when we go forward. This is a good time to focus Queen, right? Because she came into our backline, and she's pretty fucking low. I like that you tried to peel there, Rappy, and then we got good shots off on her, and we ended up killing her, so that was solid.
Yep.
Yeah, I do genuinely see Rappy try to peel, and I appreciate that. Okay. We're actually getting people from spawn. Awesome. So right now, I don't like that there were 2 of us on bot, okay? Like I said earlier, the bot does not move faster when there's 2 people on it. It is different than the payload. Right now, our tank is on bot. I don't like that. I don't like that you're on bot, Kipper. I know Dylan's calling that he's going to push it. So this seems like, again, a listening thing. Y'all's job is to regroup. You're down your Lucio and your Kree right now. You guys are not looking to take a fight, right? This is not time to take a fight. So it's safer, again, for, like, Tracer, maybe Curie to push bot. You know, Tracer's pretty safe. And then you guys regroup. Like, maybe you'll take high ground. It depends on where the bot is. You know, the bot is, again, like, coming around here. It's about ending there. So it's just kind of like first point. Like, I would probably try to take this high ground first, and then y'all can, like, go through here if you want, or then you can drop on them if they go main or something. You know, if the bot was gonna, like, end somewhere around here and the fight was going to happen, then you guys could, like, set up this right side or something. You know, it just kind of depends on where the bot is located, and where the enemy team is. Obviously, you don't know quite where the enemy team is going to go. And that's the thing too. If you don't know where the enemy team is and you don't know which way they're going to go, you don't really want to be in the middle of a path where they can jump on you from different angles. They have that angle, they have the window and this, and they have right side, and then if someone flanks this way, which, you know, this Kree kind of is, there's that path, and then you're just stuck in the middle of all of it, right? And your team's not even here to help you. So you guys have to organize, regroup, take high ground, or important space. It doesn't always have to be high ground, but important space. I think that this little path is kind of important on this point, especially because, again, like, their Kree and their Tracer keeps taking it. So what happens this fight, it's really tragic, is they end up going left, And we tried to take high ground, right, which was a good thought, but not all of us are on high ground. Not all of us need to be, but a good chunk of us should be on high ground right now. So their team just kind of pushes this way. We see Kipper, that, you know, behind them. I actually think that this could have been okay, but we make a couple of mistakes here, right? The setup was the first mistake. We didn't set up properly. Again, let Tracer move cart while we do other things. The next is, because we didn't set up properly, this McCree has access to high ground now. If we were set up properly on high ground, then we would see this and we would be able to pressure him off of it. The next thing that happens, right, is that they push us off of high ground and we don't rotate properly, and we rotate this way, which is directly in this McCree's sight lines, right? So whether or not you guys know, like, obviously, I mean, we saw him like kind of come over here this way, right? And then he jumped over. So you could make an argument of, you know, I didn't know he was there. What I'll say is, McCree is one of those important, essential targets you need to jump on, right? Because he's McCree and he can kill you very fast, just kind of like we talk about junk and stuff, especially if he's actually doing things, which it seems like this McCree has been. So, like, you should always be thinking about him, right? You should always be thinking about him. If you don't see him with the rest of his team, you should be wondering, where is he? It's the same thing of, you know, if you know that like a Reaper has Blossom and you don't see him on the front line suddenly, you should think, where is he? So you guys should kind of know that he's in here. I feel like a couple of us have seen him. I think that we're just not thinking about it. Regardless of if you know that this McCree is here or not, I think that the lot of you, the squishies that started going back this way, should not have gone this way. If they push you guys here, just kite here. Kite them away from the rest of their team. Even if Queen pushes you, like let's say she pushes with the Frog and the Tracer here, right? Your Tracer's still here. Your Queen was coming in behind them. And then, you know, you'd have your Frog, your Curie, and like your Kree like coming back this way. You bait them around this corner. They really have to push into you guys here and into your sightlines, right? You have this mini, and really the most important thing is that then you're not backing up into McCree's sightlines, right? And then if Kipper comes behind them, right? Like if they push you guys, they really want those kills. And then Kipper comes behind them, and then he starts wailing on their supports as they're trying to push you, and now you've pinched them, and suddenly you turn that fight, okay? So I think sometimes when y'all rotate, and we'll talk about it a little bit more later because it happens a couple of times, you're not really thinking about like the map and how you can make it work for yourselves, right? Like what kind of space the enemy's taking and how you need to kind of play off of that. You know, you want them to like push into your space and like into your sightlines. You don't want to push into their sightlines. So again, if you know that this Kray's up here, you definitely don't want to come this way. But regardless, I just think that that's the smarter decision anyway.
Time for the reckoning.
Really interesting Queen ult. Nice, we sped our Queen back from spawn. Very happy about that. Yeah.
I learned mid-map. I got more used to it.
Alright, so we're even right now, right? Oh, watch it. Okay. We're split here. A lot. And then, again, I like that you're trying to peel, right, the Tracer back. But we aren't thinking about McCree. That seems to be the theme. So we... Hang on.
Hi, sunshine.
I'm gonna do this. Okay, so our queen and our frog come into this room, right? And they say, I'm going to kill this queen. She's low. I'm going to get in there. I mean, you got to go in with them, right? I know that it's a little scary inside the room, but I think that you guys need to play in rooms more. And again, unless they have spam, like a junk, you know, stuff like that, where it's scary inside of a room, it's much safer in here with your team than out here by yourself. I think Tracer has like a pretty easy time like pressuring you, and you're just like not in here. Whereas if she came in here, or you're hiding in here with your team, the Tracer has to like push you from this doorway, and that's like a pretty easy headshot compared to like you standing out here and she's blinking all around you. And then you know your frog's forced to peel for you. I also think again you could always like play around, you know, these little natural cover things. I know you tried to play around this a little bit. You could always like climb back up to safety, but I think that playing in the room is probably better for you guys. And then when you kill her, you know, again, you either kill the Tracer or you come back down, you know, here like as a team, like onto whoever's standing here or something. So don't be afraid to like play in this room together as a team. You know, or around the room, you know, use the natural cover that the map has. Because what happens is you're scared of Tracer, so you TP to Kipper, but we're not really thinking about like the McCree coming back, and so he just has that sightline on you. Okay, next issue. Right now, you guys, I believe, are even. You have, let's see, yeah, you have Kipper, and you got Rappy, and you got Dylan behind them. And they also have two supports and a Kree, right? Right now, they're Queen, and they just killed Tracer. So their Queen's coming back, not here yet, and their Tracer just died. So you guys just lost Emmy, right? And then I believe Jarl is on his way back. So you guys are even right now. First and foremost, these two, you're playing like pussies, alright? Pussies. Look at the kill feed. I know you guys like are talking to each other. You guys should know that you're even, right? I feel like I can hear Dylan right now, and he's like, go in, I'm on them. Like, he just killed Tracer, he's coming on them, he's distracting them. They were literally like right in front of you. What is this Kree doing? Yeah, this Kree was like sitting around here, like right in front of you guys. I mean, you'll just waste this time.
He was posing for a sexy picture is what he was fucking doing.
Did you see that? Yeah.
That shit was hot.
Okay, so like when Emmy dies, it's about here, right? And so he's still here, and you guys are there. I want to see the cooldowns. Okay, so we almost have shout. We have amp, all right. Now I know that you're peeling, Rappy. I like that you peeled. I don't think that you need to like chase too much, right? Maybe you could have come back a little bit faster and let Dylan finish it. But I like that you tried to peel. Now when you're trying to get back, I'm not gonna try to like we'll go over this more in the individual thing. I'm not gonna try to nitpick too much, but like. You gotta be on speed, first of all, here. Like, if you're trying to get back to your queen, why the hell are you on heals right now? No one needs healing. So get on speed, go over to your tank, but I'll say also, Kipper's also playing like a pussy. Like, you guys are just standing here. I don't think that y'all are paying attention to the kill feed. That's really important. It's free information. You guys can glean a lot just from pressing the touchpad and from looking at the kill feed. You guys should know that you're even right now. It's unacceptable that you don't, and I can only assume that you don't, right? Because otherwise you would push, right? I assume that. So pay attention to the kill feed. So you have all the information you need. Second thing is, again, like, Lucio and Queen, like, you guys are a monster together. Speed on that McCree when you see him, right? Push that McCree. Especially now that you're actually together, right? Like, y'all should be pushing. I still see Rappy back here. Like, Queen has moved forward at this point, and you're still standing here, Rappy. I don't know why you're so scared right now. So we give up all of our momentum. I think that it would have been really perfect. Like, Dylan was already behind them. We had such a great opportunity there to kill those people and like really get the advantage, and we squandered it. And now Queen's back. Okay. And then I find it so interesting. Like we don't push in at all, right? And then we know that we're still down Emmy, right? Like, it's one thing when you guys are, like, 3v3, so it doesn't really matter if you're down your main support, because, like, especially with, like, a DPS, a Frog, and a Queen, like, y'all can take 2 supports and a McCree. So, like, it doesn't matter that you guys, like, try to push there without your main support. But at this point, like, you see that they've mostly regrouped. You see their Queen, like, she's right around here. At this point, you're very low, you're hurting. Y'all are way too committed to this, considering that y'all were just playing like pussies. So this is just bad timing. Let me try to run. We'll talk about this again in the individual VOD. I don't care if Kipper's low right now. If your goal, if we're making the call out like we're leaving, we're scared, we need to regroup, whatever, don't be on heal. You are not gonna out heal whatever they're doing to Kipper right now. You just need to speed him to safety and then heal. Alright? That's Lucio 101. And then, I don't know, Jarl just kind of like walks forward for some reason. I think to try to maybe LOS the high noon there. But yeah, we just all committed there for no reason, and we're still down our Moira. So that was just like a terrible fight that we took for no reason. And now we're still, notice how we're still like backing up and dying, right? And not dying on the cart like we talked about. Yeah, you guys are losing that fight, alright? Jarl died like super early, you used all your cooldowns, they're flanking you, get your asses on the bot. So either recognize that fight, either recognize opportunities, you know, sooner, right? Actually pay attention to the numbers and shit, or focus on regrouping and what space you're going to take going into the next fight, right? Well, Tracer can like push card a little there or something and then leave. Oh, I forgot to mention that. Okay, so I think this fight was lost anyway, and I do think that you all should have died on bot. But I will say again, as far as this little rotation goes, again, this is kind of like map knowledge, right? I mean, you have 4 people here, right? This is kind of one of those situations. I know they have 5. This is one of those situations where you haven't died yet, right? You guys didn't die. You have 4 people. You're waiting on, what, Kree? Yeah, Kree. So, look, at this point, you're not getting out, right? You either need to die on bot and take someone with you, or you just need to, like, take a smart fight. So kind of like we talked about earlier a little bit about playing in this room, like, you need to think about, like, the map and the angles that they're able to take. So right now, if I'm playing in this area, I'm thinking, okay, the enemy can come main, right? Like this Frog is right now, and the rest of them, like they can come from this way, right? And then if someone's like over here, they could potentially come from over here, right? So like those are kind of the front ways that I'm thinking. But I know that this fancy little door over on the left is also free for the enemies to use. So I should also be occasionally looking over there or thinking about it, right? All you guys need to do here is play inside the room, all right? Because if you're playing inside this room, like rather than backing out like this, if like we're holding this corner and maybe like a couple of our squishies are just, you know, holding in here, even if you're not, like if you guys are backed up a little, like whenever y'all back up here, I mean, it sucks that Rappy got killed, but like when y'all go, you know, push into this, like notice how Dylan masterfully goes through this room and then, you know, has the opportunity, if he wanted, if y'all didn't die, has the opportunity to like come over here behind them and like start harassing them again. This room is awesome. This is a great room. I'm pretty sure you can contest from here, right? When the bot pushes this way, it's disgusting. You have the option to go out this way and deal with them, and then you obviously have this door, you know? This is a nice little room. You got a health pack in here. Y'all can, you know, they have to push into you guys in here. They have to come in to get you out of here, right? And you guys win if they have to push into you guys. And you can still contest and stuff rather than just like falling back and dying off of bot. So if they do push you, you know, like hopefully we hear him. Maybe one of our supports again is like hiding in here doing that. We hear them and our back's not turned to the McCree, and then we can like address him or something. Jar just aren't thinking about different angles like that at all. Especially when they have like a tracer, you know, who's going to flank. They have a hit scan who often flanks. Like, y'all should be thinking about flank angles. Okay. Okay, so they're queen fed, right? We should be pushing. Push, 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 push. We're very split. This is a very split fight. I don't really know what we're doing. This seems like another instance where our front line and our back line are not together, right? So, I want to watch it again. Okay, Queen pushes our McCree like a big fat dummy. Alright. Rappy kites away from them a little, that's fine. Now we're speeding back our team. There's a tracer behind, so we're kind of nervous about that. So, okay, my issue, right? Kipper's going in balls to the wall right now. I don't know what the comms are like. I don't know if we're calling that. What I'm going to say about peeling for tracer, stop chasing her. I think that you guys can like walk forward, right? You guys can walk forward and still deal with Tracer and like actually like help make the fight happen without sitting back here and trying to fight her. Like, Jarl, you have not moved forward one bit and your supports are sitting here waiting and like, oh, is he gonna need help? Should I peel for him? I want to make sure I peel for Jarl because he gets mad when I don't. Oh, I want to help. You're just sitting there. You're sitting in the fucking path waiting for this Tracer to peek you. Just walk forward with your team. Like, if you guys win the frontline battle while she's back there, just kind of like, you know, doing whatever, then you just win and it doesn't matter. You know, you can push like this fucking Kree that's apparently over here, you know? Y'all could have just surged forward and killed him. Surged forward and killed like their stupid fucking supports that are still standing here that we're not like paying attention to anymore because, you know, we're worried about this Tracer. Okay. I'm glad that we flushed the Kree out. I think that we took entirely too long to do it, but I'm glad that we did it. Okay. So you want to tell me my issue with this right now?
We were very split on what we were trying to do.
Yep. Absolutely. So Rappy is somehow in the middle, not helping anyone right now. And Kipper is up here with Dylan, right? Trying to make something happen. And then we have... looks like Jarl and Emmy all the way back here peeling for Queen. Okay. We gotta not do this, right? We have to communicate. Again, I don't know where the disconnect is. I don't know if it's like we're not calling when we're going in or if we're not calling that we're peeling. I think that we're kiting back entirely too much to peel. Yeah. Yeah, it just seems like a disconnect, you know? We wanted to push forward, the Queen happened to be there, so two of us stayed back, two of us went forward, Rappy was somehow caught in the middle, and, you know, then our team fell apart. Like, you guys are playing Brawl, and it's okay to take angles, right? Like, I don't mind when y'all do take, you know, angles, especially because you're playing Tracer with it, but y'all have to be coordinated there, y'all have to be together. Oh yeah, this is a perfect time for me to mention that you probably should have taxied sooner. Let's see. Okay, Trace is pushed up, so no longer no longer pushing bot. That's totally fine. Emmy can push bot. You need to go much faster. It looks like someone either told you or, you know, your brain like clicked in for a second. You're like, oh shit, I have to be somewhere.
Yeah.
Definitely needs to happen faster, right? Again, anytime mid-fight, right? Or not mid-fight, I'm sorry. Anytime between fights, not mid-fight. Definitely not mid-fight. Anytime.
Excellent. I'll do that mid-fight now. Understood.
I'm sorry. Anytime between fights, right, where you don't have to be there, you know, it's not crucial that you stand there. You should be thinking, okay, who died last? Unless it's like someone super fucking speedy, you go there and help, especially if it's a tank or like your other support or something. So again, y'all just gotta communicate who's pushing cart or bot. You know, it applies to payload and bot and push maps, but you gotta communicate who's pushing and then, you know, make sure that we're actually regrouping. This though, this was a very clean fight. I'm so happy. Okay, so we got Jarl pressuring on high ground and Dylan pressuring on the side and our teams together, and we push in, we pull the queen back, we cull, we just go super aggressive. It was beautiful. What a fight. Look at us fucking jump on that frog. Good job. Wow. Okay. I just don't quite like where we're standing. I think that we probably could have committed onto the McCree because it wouldn't take very long, right? Like, if our team, we had, like, what, 3 people here and he's on the top of the stairs, I think y'all can just go and jump on him, personally. And then from there, you know, you can go back to the team, some of you, or, you know, whoever can, like, go around. So, I don't know.
I definitely called their, like, Rappy or whoever was over there. I was like, I'll just finish him. That's on me.
That's fine.
I definitely called that.
Yeah, I mean, if you're confident that you'll kill him and you want them to go back, like, it's whatever. I think that as a team, like, we could just commit on that kill real quick because it would take, like, 2 seconds, right?
Yeah, I assumed he'd back up. That's the only reason I thought that it might do that. That's why.
And then I landed on a pulse bomb.
Yeah, I saw that. Very unfortunate. Okay, so we get that kill. Yeah. Rafi lands on the pulse bomb. You know, that sucks. I really hate where we are right now. It feels like we're not really set up at all for this fight. If we're gonna take the fight here, which is totally fine. Like, if we decide we want to take it on bot, because you don't really like want to take the fight, you know, in front of this high ground. I know they're not really utilizing it, right, because of their McCree. But like, if they have like a soldier, you know, like whatever hit skin up here, I think that you definitely don't want to like take it in front of that. So I'm fine with you guys playing around this corner. But some of us are not really playing around the corner. Jarl, it feels like you're not really sure where to play right now. Yeah. Yeah, and then we backed up and you were like... I mean, I think maybe you could have stayed here, right? Because this is still pretty far back, especially when the Kree's dead. And then if they try to, like, come at you, you just, like, run inside, maybe. But I also think playing back here is fine. Yeah, it just felt like as they were engaging, like most of us weren't really sure where to go, so like 4 of y'all were just clumped on payload. You know, it felt like we were still like mid kind of rotating when they were already like engaging. So it felt really awkward. Like you guys are still kind of like backing up and trying to figure shit out as they're in. It's okay, Dylan popped off.
I'm a feeder. I know.
Yeah. That's kind of like what I was talking about right before the fight before about if they're holding that high ground. Like y'all just have to be conscientious of that. And you know, in this moment it was you, but I know that I know that I've seen again, like I've seen some of us playing around, you know, here and it kind of being an issue. Let me see it again.
Brain
Not
shut
specifically, do I? Yeah. Also, Emmy, I will say, right, when they're on high ground, I know that, their Kree just died. I like that you're trying to play this angle, right, where the soldier can't see you. I like that.
I saw him up
or the
there, because you
McCree.
see I throw an orb up there.
Yeah.
And then I just play the wall.
Yeah, I like that you're playing the wall. That's really nice. And then obviously, like, if they push you or something, then you run back to the corner or the room or something, but I like that. That was your initial response. Zoning visor? Yeah. Okay, and I don't like that you're no longer playing that wall in me, right? I think that you still need to play the wall. I think we just weren't thinking about the Kree coming back, right? Because he hadn't been up there for a bit, and so, you know, you felt more comfortable because they were getting pushed back. This is one of those high grounds where, like, obviously, like, they can access it pretty fucking easily from their spawn, right? So y'all just have to, like, and this is a team thing, y'all as a whole have to be mindful, of course, that they might take that position at any point. So I'd either, as a squishy, I would play under this McCree, you know, maybe in here, so I can kind of like help my team, and then if he tries to like look over, I can duck under. Or I would say, I mean, it depends on the support you're playing. As Moira, I probably think that's best, but like if you're playing like maybe like a longer range support, you know, you could play kind of like where Jarl's playing, so you can see without the Kree seeing you. But as Moira, yeah, I think you just needed to be a little bit over. I know you're trying to help push cart, right? Because no one else is really doing that. In which case, like, I don't know. It's kind of awkward, though. I wouldn't really worry about cart right now. I would just try to, like, survive and help your team push or win the fight. Okay, they beat, so we should run, right? I saw a little bit of heal there, Rappy. A little bit of heal, and I think that little bit of heal cost Kipper his life. Here, I'll play it back. We can watch it. What's the laughing? Oh, okay. So you see Kipper get low, and you're like, heal, I must heal. I'm a frog. I must support. And then you're like, oh, I really gotta speed. Yeah, and Kipper dies. Bad, Rappy. Bad. Speed him around. Speed him to cover. That's probably, again, one of those situations, though, like we lost our main support early. I think you guys just die. Unless you are going to speed back very fast, and, you know, it's for sure, like, I know that, like, we have enough space between them, and we have speed that they can't keep up, then, you know, you guys can go for that. But they also have speed. They probably have shout, right? You guys were pretty close to them whenever y'all initially tried to push back. Don't worry, I'll back it up just to make sure I'm not a liar. Okay, so we lose Moira right here. They beat, and we try to run. Alright? At this point, honestly, I'm calling it. They beat, we lost our main heal, die on cart. I think that's the call. You guys are already, like, right up on them, right? There's no way that you're getting out of that. You also go, like, the longest path possible. And if you are going to run, don't look at them when you're running either, right? Just turn around. Like, if you don't look at them, they can't hurt you, alright? So just turn around. Yes, that's why I say it, though. I should have probably explained that. Yes, you move faster in the direction that you're facing. So when you're trying to run away from something, unless they're killable, obviously, if you're trying to run away from something, don't look at them. Just don't look at them. Just run. So, yeah. I don't think that it's viable for you guys to run here, though. I think that y'all just die in cart. You end up giving a lot of space for free, and y'all just, for the most part, all die anyway. Yep, even Jarl dies. Yeah, but you didn't. Um. Okay, so we have everyone.
2 minutes remaining.
Right, Kree's ulting. Okay. Um. Look at him. Okay, so a lot of us are just hiding. Which I get, you know. Okay, he's done. So, Emmy, you need to come forward, like, super fast, which you do. You realize that, and then you try to come in, right? I think that you guys take this fight wrong. Kipper, we talked about this a little in our VOD. Part of this isn't your fault. The high noon kind of split us, right? We were a little pushed back. We got to make sure that we're ready, I think, to engage before we go in. I know that it's about to be OT and you guys are panicking. I get that. This is what always happens. But I told you in our VOD, right, Kipper, that sometimes when you go in super hard, it baits our team into making bad decisions. It's not just a you thing. But like Emmy faded there to catch up because she was a little too far back, I'll say, right? It sucks that you got stuck in there hiding from the high noon. I wish that we could have been in here. Maybe you could have, like, you know, jumped in here or something. I don't know. But I wish that we were a little bit closer there because, again, like, Kipper went really hard here, like, forward, and then you felt like you needed to fade to keep up, and then we died. Yeah, and then you didn't have fade to get out of that pool. Now, but my biggest issue, really, though, with the fight is that, like, we wait. So this Kree's already done high nooning, and we're like, we're gonna wait until they're around this corner before we engage. So the first thing, again, talking about cooldowns. Kipper, again, you use your shout right here, but you're not actually going on anyone. You don't know for sure, like, who's around this corner because you're not actually looking. You're looking at McCree right now. You're obviously not going on him. You shout and then, like, don't really go in on anyone, so I think that's a waste. I think it's a waste of time that you guys are, like, waiting right here to contest. I think that, again, you guys could have played in this room and even just tried to, like, start contesting from here, from the window, and then jump on someone when they're low. Like, hopefully at that point, like, I think Dylan was probably... Were you helping with the soldier?
I had just recalled back from touching points, so we got the close spawn, and
Yeah.
I don't think I wanted to go in, so I just kind of was chilling in that corner waiting to kind of get some blinks and recall back.
Okay, so waiting on cooldowns.
Yeah.
Right.
10 seconds remaining.
Okay, so, yeah, I just think everyone's out of position here. I mean, you're all trying to, like, kind of fend off Soldier a little bit, which is okay. Although he's very far away. I don't know how much he's really doing over there. Yeah, I mean, and Dylan, you were waiting around here for your cooldowns. I like that you're in this room now. I wish that would have been sooner if we were going to play in that corner, right? Like, you could have hidden here waiting for cooldowns. But as a team, I think that, you know, we could just, like, be in this room, even when they have the high noon, because, you know, like, they can't see you. And then we can, like, contest from here when the cart goes by, you know, to make sure that we have that touch. And then, again, like, if we're poking at them from different angles and we get someone low, then we can jump out of this window if we want, or we can still, like, contest and jump in on them, you know, here, especially, like, once they start bringing it around the point, and then we shout and we jump on someone, right? We just, like, we really misused our cooldowns there. I think we engaged too late. We waited too long for them to, like, get around this corner when we could have taken use of, again, that room and the window and, you know, whatever else, so. That is it. So, again, the whole pathing and positioning thing, I think that we're thinking too much about... I don't want to say we're thinking too much about the objective, because obviously it's important, but the fights come first. You guys need to be thinking more about like the important areas of a map that you either like want to contest or you want to deny, making sure that you're helping like set up your team properly before you like drop onto the enemy. And then again, addressing the disconnect between our front line and our back line. Sometimes, you know, that's like our frog needs to go back and taxi people sort of thing. But the biggest issue I have is that there are very many fights that we lose where our tank and like a DPS or whatever, they go in really hard, right? And then like a support and like another squishy are like really pulled back for whatever reason. Like if we're gonna peel, we need to make sure that we're not like super aggressing on the front line during that. And if we're gonna go in, then we need to make sure that we're like all pushing forward, even if there is like someone, you know, kind of pestering us in the back line. Like you guys are still stronger together, and you can still like peel as you walk forward, right? Yeah. Yes, exactly. So you guys gotta like, I think it's just like, I mean, it's just communicating more. Like, if you're wanting to go in, just like a small, like it doesn't have to be long, but just like a short little, you know, everyone good. And then if someone's not good, they can speak up, or people can just say like, yeah, let's fucking go, and then we go. I don't know, something like that. But we can't just like go in without warning, and we also have to like make sure that we're still supporting our front line too, I think. Not backing up too much away from each other. Okay. Any questions, thoughts?
No?